We all believe, or at least try to believe, in the criminal justice system. We know that if you commit a crime, you will most likely end up in prison with a punishment that fits the crime you've committed. But what if the punishment is far worse than the crime that was done? Let me show you 5 worst, most terrifying, and deadliest prisons in the world. Here we go, in no particular order. Number 1. Sabaneta Prison in Venezuela. Venezuela has the worst second highest homicide rate. It's no surprise that Venezuelan prisons are considered to be some of the most violent in the world. More than 3,700 of Venezuela's most violent criminals are packed like sardines into Sabaneta, a prison built to house no more than 700. The prison is filthy, dangerous, overcrowded, and neglected, and with a prisoner-to-guard ratio of about 150 to 1. The prisoners maintain their own kind of order, a gang-controlled hierarchy. Low-status inmates pay the more powerful inmates just to secure a place to sleep. If they want water, most must drink straight from corroded bathroom pipes. As a result of such abuse, riots have broken out again and again in the prison. In 1994, 108 prisoners were killed in a particularly brutal riot that left the prison scorched black. In 2013, 16 inmates were killed during a riot. The war between rival gangs led to the beheading and gruesome dismemberment of several victims. A raid found a large stockpile of assault rifles, grenades, and even endangered animals, which belonged to the Prawn, the leader of the prison, the top gang member. Here the guards guard the gate, really, and the prisoners inside live by their own rules. The former Venezuelan president Hugo Chavez said, "Sabaneta is the gateway to the 5th circle of hell." Number 2. Rikers Island, New York. Third largest jail facility in the United States, Rikers Island holds local offenders with short sentences that are 1 year or less, those awaiting trial and those awaiting transfer. Rikers Island has a notorious record of systemic abuse, perhaps even more so than the rampant gang violence. Inmates often live in abject terror of abusive correctional officers. In 2009, New York Times reported that there had been at least 7 lawsuits filed against the Department of Corrections for guard-sanctioned inmate versus inmate violence. In one such case, a guard allegedly ordered 6 prisoners to brutally beat 2 inmates, one of whom was hospitalized with a collapsed lung. The New York Times also reported that during an 11-month period in 2013, about 129 inmates had sustained serious injuries at the hands of the guards. These were no scrapes. The injuries included bone fractures, deep wounds that required stitching, and severe head injuries. One of the inmates, Browder, was victimized by both correctional officers and fellow inmates before his case was dismissed and Browder was released. To reiterate, Browder suffered 3 long years of abuse and mental anguish waiting for a case that was then dismissed anyway. While in solitary confinement, Browder attempted to kill himself on multiple occasions, a heinous side effect of not only the mental torture of solitary confinement, but also of the incessant abuse Browder endured. In June 2015, Browder hung himself. The press coverage of cases involving allegations of rape, sex assault, abuse, and negligence at Rikers became the catalyst for proposed reform of the New York City criminal justice system. Number 3. Kwang Prison in Bangkok. Kwang Prison is also known as the Bangkok Hilton, is a severely overcrowded and underfunded maximum security facility that houses both local and foreign prisoners. It has a reputation worldwide for being one of the worst prisons due to extraordinary unfair sentencing and inmate abuse. Built in 1930s, the prison was originally supposed to hold no more than 3,500 inmates, but now has more than 8,000, with most serving sentences of at least 25 years. Around 10% of those prisoners are on death row, and each death row inmate has shackles welded to their legs. Only one meal, a bowl of rice and soup, is served each day. Other food must be purchased through the canteen, although the poor prisoners have to work for their wealthier prisoners in order to afford the canteen's goods. One prisoner said he often observed guards beating mentally ill and elderly prisoners with sticks, and at one time witnessed a pregnant woman endure the same abuse. Lack of running water and terrible sewage system sends toxic fumes into the prison and creates a number of health issues that are only exacerbated by the overcrowding. Perhaps the scariest aspect of the prison is how easy it is to end up there for decades, even if not warranted. UK native Jonathan Wheeler was sentenced to ban Kwang for smuggling heroin and was sentenced to 50 years. Meanwhile, a local who was arrested for shooting and butchering his wife was released after only 11 years. Number 4. Petak Island Prison, Russia. Often referred to as the Alcatraz of Russia, Petak Island holds Russia's most dangerous criminals. Aside from the mental torture of 22.5-hour-a-day lockdowns in two-man rooms, most prisoners are allowed just 2 visitors per year. The prison is inescapable, surrounded by the freezing waters of White Lake. One-time head guard Vasily Smirnov said, "If they dig, they hit water. If they try to swim, the guards will shoot them." The prison psychologist Svetlana Kiselyova said, "The first 9 months or so they spend adapting. After 3 or 4 years, their personalities begin to deteriorate. There is no way anyone can spend 25 years in a place like this." One inmate summarized Petak Island hopelessness when he told the Telegraph, "This is the worst. There are no lavatories, no proper washing facilities, and you spend your whole life in a cell. When I came here, I told my wife to get a divorce. She cried a little, and we've never seen each other since." In addition to the sheer isolation of Petak Island, inmates have limited access to basic facilities like bathrooms, which is a major contributor to the fact that half of the inmates have tuberculosis. During the hour and a half of outdoor excursions allowed each day, prisoners are confined to a small outdoor cage, just big enough to stand and pace back and forth in. Petak Island, the psychological anguish suffered there is enough to break even the most hardened criminals. Number 5. Diyarbakir Prison, Turkey. Turkey is already notorious for its terrible record in human rights. It gets even worse when you look into its prisons. Diyarbakir Prison in southeastern Turkey was built in 1980. This prison is known for dishing out not just physical torture to its inmates, but mental as well. There are 2 sections within the facility, namely the E-type, which has a capacity of 744 prisoners, and the D-type with a 688 capacity. However, both currently hold more prisoners than they should. The conditions at Diyarbakir are so extreme that inmates have attempted everything from hunger strikes to setting themselves on fire to try and draw attention to the atrocities being committed at the facilities. So far, neither the Turkish government nor anyone else have done very much to improve their bleak existence. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.